Today is the 10th day of the month of Cheshvan. We are in the middle of chapter 10 of the Cheshvan discussing the laws of Tefillin. Today we'll be doing paragraphs 6 through 12. Paragraph 6. We have to make sure that our tefillin are directly on our bodies. There can't be anything separating our bodies from the tefillin, otherwise it's not considered that we're wearing them. So we have to make sure that our sleeves are, for our hand tefillin, that our sleeves are pulled up all the way above the tefillin. And for our head tefillin, the two things to be careful about is number one, that our yarmulkes don't get caught under the tefillin. And also we have to make sure that we don't have, our bangs aren't too big, that our bangs themselves end up becoming interposition between the tefillin and our head. Regular hair is not a problem, but an elaborate, very puffy hairstyle might create an issue. Now, this concern of having something stuck between the tefillin and our bodies only really applies to the tefillin box itself and the strap right around it holding it down. So really, once we start wrapping the straps around our forearm, then if there's something on our arm, a watch, maybe a ring on our finger, that really wouldn't be a problem. However, the custom still is, if possible, to take it off. Paragraph 7. There are 3 letters that are associated with our tefillin. The most obvious letter is the letter written on the head tefillin. There's a shin over there. The next letter is the back of our head tefillin, the knot on our neck. That forms the letter dalid. And on the hand tefillin, right next to the tefillin, there is a knot that resembles the letter yud. These 3 letters, shin, and then dalid, and then yud, spell out one of God's names, shakai, which refers to God's strength and might. Therefore, these letters have a lot of significance. They're not just some small side part of the tefillin. Because of that, we're supposed to make sure that the yud knot on the hand tefillin is touching the tefillin box. Also, it's supposed to be facing the inside of our bodies, on the inside side of the tefillin box, not on the outside side of the tefillin. Now, sometimes somebody comes to shul for morning services and they forgot their tefillin at home, or they don't have a pair of tefillin, so they use a pair of tefillin that the shul has, they'll borrow from somebody else. If they're a righty and the tefillin that they're using is its righty set, no problem. But let's say they're a lefty and they're using a righty tefillin set, or the opposite. So it comes out that the yud knot is going to be on the outside of the tefillin box instead of on the inside. If they're knowledgeable how to untie the whole knot and the strap and retie in the other way, great, but most people don't know how to do that. So therefore, what the Cheshvan suggests is you put the tefillin upside down on your arm. That way, the yud knot will end up on the inside, closer to your body. Paragraph 8. The hand tefillin and the head tefillin are really considered a one mitzvah, and therefore we're not supposed to take any break between putting them on. Like we saw earlier, according to many opinions, the blessing that we make on the hand tefillin is also the blessing for the head tefillin. So you're not allowed to make a break between the blessing and the mitzvah. Therefore, we have to make sure to put on the head tefillin right after the hand tefillin. And also we have to make sure that we're not making any sort of interruption. We're not talking in the middle. Not only that, we're not even supposed to be motioning with our eyes. If somebody comes up to talk to us, we're supposed to just ignore them until we finish. Then afterwards apologize. I'm sorry, I was putting on my tefillin, I couldn't interrupt. But we're not supposed to give any sort of response. If you hear the chazan finish a blessing or say Kaddish, we can't even say Amen or Yehei Shmei Rabbah. The one exception is that if you hear your neighbor making a blessing on tefillin, you could say Amen to his blessing. Since it's also tefillin related, it's not considered a break. Paragraph 9. Let's say somebody did talk after they put on the hand tefillin before they put on the head tefillin. They have to make a new blessing on the hand tefillin, move the hand tefillin a little bit as if they're putting it on for the first time, and then they make the blessing on the head tefillin and put on the head tefillin. That's how severe talking between the hand tefillin and head tefillin is. If you do it, you have to make a new blessing on the hand tefillin. You have to start from scratch. Paragraph 10. When we wear tefillin, we're supposed to have in mind that we're connecting to God. We're fulfilling this mitzvah that He gave us of wearing tefillin, which have in it the 4 paragraphs from the Torah that talk about the mitzvah of tefillin. A big part of that is remembering that He took us out of Egypt, like so many other mitzvahs. The hand tefillin go opposite our heart, to remind us that our heart, the seat of our desires are supposed to be subjugated towards God. And the head tefillin go on our heads opposite our brains in order to remind us that our brains or our neshama, our souls are primarily located, as well as our sense of logic, our intellect also is represented by our brain. Also that we should be using in the service of God, connecting to Torah, connecting to our Jewish brothers and sisters. Paragraph 11. Let's say somebody only has one of the tefillin. He doesn't have a complete set. Is it worthwhile to put on the one that he has? Or is one without the other meaningless? So we already did see 2 paragraphs back that the hand tefillin and head tefillin are so connected that if you interrupt between putting them on, then you have to start over from the beginning. But even with that, we do look at them as 2 separate mitzvahs, or at least we do whatever we could. If we only have one of them, we put it on. But the question is, what blessings do you make? So if you're only putting on the hand tefillin, then you only make the blessing of lahaniach tefillin. That's the blessing that's normally said on the hand tefillin. If you're only putting on the head tefillin, you make both blessings on the head tefillin. Now remember, we saw earlier that Sephardic Jews never make a blessing on the head tefillin. So if they're putting on only the head tefillin, they only do the first blessing just like regular. Paragraph 12. We already discussed how tefillin go on your weaker arm. If you're a righty, you put tefillin on your left arm. If you're a lefty, tefillin go on your right arm. Let's say somebody is ambidextrous. If not fully ambidextrous, partially ambidextrous. Some things do with their right hand, some things do with their left hand. So this gets very complicated, and if you're in this situation, make sure to speak to a competent rabbi to figure out which arm you're supposed to put your tefillin on. This concludes today's episode. Have a great day and see you tomorrow.